those are pretty good. I don't actually remember. I know it would have been around that time, I'm sure. Um, I don't remember the first one. I can think of all these movies where I cried. Like I cried at the end of Insurrection when Data was like sacrificed himself to save Captain Picard, and
Yep.
I know I cried during Schindler's List,
All right.
Those are
and I
good,
know I
powerful
cried
ones.
during Justice League because it was so bad. I can't. Sorry, I can't remember the first.
Fair.
All right, fair enough. Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I do.
How would you spend 100 mil?
$100 million. If I had $100 million, the first thing I would do is I would buy a nice house with a little bit of land. I mean, I'd love to be able to tell you something altruistic, but I'd probably create some kind of dog sanctuary. So, be able to look after some rescue dogs or abused dogs, something like that.
See, that's a great answer. That's awesome, man. What exotic animal would you domesticate?
Oh, like assuming there was no like cruelty involved in
Yep.
it happening. If there was any wild, I think the honey badger is pretty badass. It'd be cool to have a little honey badger running around, dude. Like come out of your bathroom and be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, dude!"
That would be cool. Yeah, it'd be like a great protecting animal too.
Yeah. Just go around, just doing his thing, and just like jumping out. It'd be like Kato from the Pink Panther.
Yep.
It's so dope. Attack badger. What gets on your nerves?
Oh, I was just talking about this with another friend. Okay, so my biggest pet peeve, like it's the kind of pet peeve that induces so much white hot fury rage that I could cut continents in half with a mere look.
Oh, hold on. You know what really grinds my gears? Okay, go ahead.
If the thought police were a real thing, they would come to my door and say, "Sir, you need to come with us. No one should feel this much rage." It's when I've got my headphones in and they're like plugged into my phone and they get caught on something and either get ripped out of my ears or ripped out of my phone or pull my phone across the room. Since I switched to
I hate
AirPods,
that too.
right?
Yep.
It's like just like in an instant, I have so much rage more than anything else on the planet. So it's getting headphones or earphones ripped out of my ears and all caught in something.
I think this is
Biggest
exactly
pet peeve.
why AirPods were invented.
I have them. It was a life changer.
Yes.
Totally are. What's the last thing you did just for yourself?
The last thing I did just for myself, I worked out. I was in the gym. I worked out.
Nice. What holiday would you erase from the calendar if you could?
Oh, I hate all the greeting card holidays, like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, all of those ones. I can't stand them. So I'd put it as a heading of all greeting card company holidays, and then just blanket statement wipe it all out.
All
You know
right.
what? I totally agree with you on the Valentine's Day one. I fucking hate that holiday. Like that it's only because you have to show your love and buy a bunch of shit. No, you do that every day if you love your wife. Like you don't need a holiday for that. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah,
I digress.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about the others.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
I listen to the FAP podcast.
I'm pretty sure there was some fap in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, did you get that little beat?
Love it. What activity makes you totally lose track of time? See answer 16.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely. I think it's probably video games. The number of times, especially when you're playing something like Civilization, and you're like, "Oh, just one more turn." 3 a.m.
Fair enough. We've lived that life. Yep. But no.
What's the best thing you've ever eaten?
Oh my God! Screw you. That's the best thing I've ever eaten. Oh my goodness!
That provides nourishment.
Yeah.
There's
A proper
that
food
list
base.
is long. That list is pretty damn big. I like food. I'm a bit of a foodie. Best thing I've ever eaten.
Where you're just like, holy shit.
You know what's really amazing? Because a lot of celebrities jump in and they're like, "No, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You can still enjoy food.
Yeah, it's just like no, like here's
Tony,
a guy
we had that vegan cake and it was awesome.
It's true. That vegan cake is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm on a very strict fitness diet right now. It's all macros, so I've been learning to like bake with protein powder, making like protein cakes and stuff. They're so good. But the best food I think I've ever eaten. I was lucky enough to eat at a Michelin star restaurant in Prague, and that was pretty special. Like every single dish was pretty much mind blowing.
Nice.
I think I'd probably put that on the list. I'm sure there's been lots of like little things here and there that are just the best, or that I have to get, or that I really love. Like I'm a big fan of breakfast sandwiches. There's a restaurant in Hamilton called the Coop, and they make one of the best breakfast sandwiches I've ever had. So it's like little things like that. But the best thing I've ever eaten, that's a tough one. I don't know. Okay.
Have you seen Birds of Prey yet with the egg sandwich?
No.
Oh, it's really funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
Question 19. Have you ever had a crush on a fictional character, and if so, who?
Oh God, yeah, of course, absolutely. My biggest hero, I don't know that I have a crush on her, but my biggest hero is Buffy. I'm sure I had a crush on her at some point. I was a teenager. Also, since we're talking about Animaniacs, there was that like Lynx character that they had. Really confused teenage Jeff.
Yep.
Like, holy shit.
Mine was Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus.
Get the fuck out.
Dude, the Frizz was fucking hot. No, the old one was still hot, man. She had like this like authoritarian thing happening. Fuck you, Tony. I am who I am.
It explains so much.
I mean, listen, man, not passing any judgment, but I think you got some shit you got to unlock there, man. Holy hell.
Whatever, you guys.
And here I did not feel bad now saying Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Jessica Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit is a perfectly legitimate thing.
Yeah. Oh, shit, man.
And question 20. Favorite podcast you've been on in the last 12 hours?
Oh, it's a tough one to think about, but I would have to say the FAP podcast.
That's a good answer.
Thanks, bud.
It's fapping fantastic.
So,
what'd you think of the new questions?
Oh, I like the new questions very much. That favorite thing I've ever eaten is a bit of a loaded one. That's probably the hardest question on there, but I like the new questions. That's good.
That's a very tough one. Cool. Now, we do have one last question for you. So our last guest that we had on the show, her name is Charlie Murray, and her question for you is, how do you feel about stunt men and women being left out of the Oscars, and do you feel there should be an award for what you do?
Well, you know what? That is a freaking awesome question. And I love Charlie. I don't know Charlie personally, but I love Charlie for asking that question, and I appreciate that question. And I want to thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. Here's how I feel about that. There are only two departments that do not get recognized by the Oscars or award ceremonies. One of them is casting. The other one is stunts. There is no award for stunt either. There are some honorary awards. We have our own awards through the Taurus Awards, but the Oscars do not recognize them. And my opinion of that is it's horseshit. We are artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are times when the entire film crew, we have a thing called like second unit. So main unit is where they go off and they shoot all the very important scenes where Tony Stark is talking to the team about what they're going to do. Meanwhile, second unit, which is primarily all stunt people in front of the camera and all stunt people behind the camera in some cases, and we will just shoot all these stunts, but big fight sequences. They are designed by the stunt team. They are shot by the stunt team. They are performed by the stunt team. So the idea that we don't get them is ludicrous. The second thing that I would address to that is that in the day and age of the Marvel Universe and all these heroes that have masks and whatnot, 99% of the time when you see the mask on, it's a stunt person doing the work. Mm-hmm. They absolutely deserve credit. They deserve an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
How we judge that Oscar is a bit of a mystery to me. Now, one of the arguments that I've heard for not having it is that some people will want to do bigger and more dangerous stunts. And my argument to that is anybody who says that has never been part of a stunt, because we are constantly trying to push the envelope.
Yep.
But one of the criteria, and I would argue one of the most important criteria, is how can we do it safely and recreate it? Because if you're going to Super Dave the shit out of a stunt,
yep,
and you're not going to get a take two, that's not a good stunt.
Mm-hmm.
That is, that's not a good stunt. You're throwing your life away and your health and safety away, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
A good stunt is one that can be recreated again and again and again. There's always going to be an element of danger and risk, and you don't want to roll that dice too many times. But the engineering that goes into that is a very specific and technical expertise that uses some of the best people in the world to kind of arrange these stunt sequences.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that we're not going to try and push that envelope because we're already doing it. But the criteria of keeping everybody safe so that we can walk away from it is always in consideration.
Yeah.
I think I've heard sometimes people say that they don't want to do it because they don't want to take away from the work that the actors are doing. My argument to that is also bullshit. The actors don't say those, they don't make those words up themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't wear those clothes. They don't look like they do. Like, those choices were done by hair people and makeup people and script supervisors and script writers. They aren't, every single department has its own job, and the purpose of the stunt team is to keep everyone safe and to make them look good. So I do think that the award ceremony should be recognizing the stunt department. We have a hashtag. You can follow it on Twitter called Stand Up for Stunts. And every year when the award ceremony comes around, we remind everybody, and we do a little push, and we try to remind everybody that we do exist. We have a huge part in what we do, and we are ignored by and large by the majority of the award ceremonies, and we would like to see that change.
100%. I really do believe that if there's an Oscar movie, something like or an award for something like Iron Man, then if it's Robert Downey Jr. going up, his stuntman should be right beside him the whole time. Because they're really two people making one character to fill that entire role. I do believe, Geoff, and you can correct me wrong, I'm 100% sure there is actually a petition out there, because I'm pretty sure I signed it myself, to have an award for the stunt people.
Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate that. And yeah, we're trying, and we agree that, I really appreciate the support. I really do. I think, the running joke this year at the Academy Awards is that you can win a stunt award, you can win an award for pretending to be a stunt man, but you can't win an award for being a stunt.
It's true. It's true.
And I mean, God bless Brad Pitt for giving us a shout out like he did on the stand there, and I hope that it continues to happen. And you're absolutely right. We are part of the character. Anytime if I'm doubling just a guy, like let's say I'm doubling, torturer number 2, I'm doubling a random guy. I just go in and I do the thing, and I keep the actor safe, and I go home. But if I'm doubling a lead actor, if I'm doubling like Frenchie on The Boys,
mm-hmm.
when I'm performing my physical action, I'm performing as the character Frenchie. I consult with the actor. I consult with the director. I consult with the stunt coordinator about what we're looking for from this performance, how the movement happens. I watch my actors, how they stand, if they slouch, if they stay the one leg over the other. Maybe they always like turning to the right instead of the left. What are the signature moves of that particular actor? And I take them on. Like, there have been shows where I double multiple actors, different characters at this time. And it's my responsibility to make sure that I represent both of those characters, different characters, differently, and I represent them as the actor would represent them. So I am as much that character as that actor, and that's a very important distinction. And it's more than just going in and falling down. Sometimes I'm doing stuff where I'm working second unit, where all I'm doing is running through fields or running across streets or just driving a car. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing it as that character, and it's an important distinction.
For sure. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, you really are the kind of the second persona in order to make that character believable and real. So I definitely feel you should get your comeuppance for it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Appreciate the support, and I hope anybody listening will give us the support as well. And think about stunt people next time they're watching a big movie. Like, Atomic Blonde or the next John Wick, and they look at all these people that are hitting the ground and hitting the concrete, and just knowing that, the